Hey, what's up everybody? How we doing? So in honor of the 50th, yes, 50th outdoor motocross season, I want to kind of run back through history and go through some of the best riders there are. So there's 50 seasons. I'm going to give you the best overall riders, the top 10 anyway, that doesn't matter class, 500, 250, 125, 450, 250. Those, I just throw that out the window. I'm looking at titles, speed, who they competed against, and just basically how it went. So I'm going to start this off with an honorable mention who just missed the top 10. Jeff Stanton. Stanton was tough as nails, and had he gotten the elusive 500cc title that he wanted and that he said he was going to get when he went to Honda, I probably would have him on the list. But unfortunately, he never did. He's got 3 250 titles, which is impressive. But I also kind of put an asterisk on those. How many of those would he have got if Danny Storbeck didn't land on Rick Johnson? That leads us to number 10 on my list. Rick Johnson. He's got 5 titles combined between 250 and 500, and he gave one away with the broken wheel, and his career was cut short with a wrist injury. I almost want to put him higher, but you'll see why I didn't when we go through the list here. But RJ was pretty dominant in his time. How many would he have had if Bailey didn't get hurt? But we can play that game all day long. But I've got Rick Johnson, the original bad boy, at number 10. Number 9, Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward is probably the most well-rounded racer that I've ever seen. He's won an IRL IndyCar race. He got 3rd in the Daytona or the Indy 500. He's got a Supermoto National Championship or a multiple. I don't know. I can't remember how many Supermoto Championships he's got. The guy can do everything. To round that out, he's got a 125 title, a 250 title, and a 500 title. That's pretty impressive. I believe he's the only guy to do that. So, yeah, because 500s aren't available anymore. Well, I think Mike Kudrowski might have done that too. I have to double check and see if he had it. But he didn't have enough to get on the list. Kudrowski was good, but he wasn't. I mean, yeah. So, Jeff Ward, number 9, the Flying Freckle. Brock Glover was number 8. Brock is the original golden boy. Brock has 6 titles between the classes. He had, and what makes Brock so impressive and why he's on this list, he won on a YZ490, people. YZ490 against the HRC Honda 500 and those great Kawasaki 500s. That Yamaha was a hunk of junk. Had he switched, and I've actually asked him this, he probably would have got more titles. 2 guys that Yamaha had that, could have done better if they had not been so loyal was Damon Bradshaw and Brock Glover. Bradshaw obviously not on this list, but Brock Glover is with 6 national championships. David Bailey. He's only got 3, but it's David Bailey. I mean, everybody wanted to be David Bailey. When you grew up, it was the little professor. He introduced style. He introduced technique to the game. He really changed it. Had he not had his catastrophic injury, he for sure would have a couple more titles on this list. Absolutely, without a doubt. I don't even question that. Then that leads me to number 6. Bob Hanna. Bob Hurricane Hanna. So this guy took it by storm. It surprised me when I looked at the results, and he only had 4 championships. He was known as the living legend. He was the dominant guy, but he had some weird things happen. He won one of the titles and then went water skiing, broke his leg really bad. They almost thought they were going to have to amputate it, but he ended up, recovering, but he was just really never the same after that. But he still ended up with 4 national championships outdoors. Now we get to a few of the more modern guys. Ryan Dungey, who's making his comeback, the Diesel. 4 championships between 250 and 450. 1 in the 250, 3 in the 450. Guy's a badass. I mean, he's an all-time great. So, number 5, Ryan Dungey. Ryan Villopoto is number 4. Ryan Villopoto he only had 2 450 titles, which surprised me. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think he would have got more if he stuck around. But Ryan Villopoto, the reason I have him in front of Dungey is because head to head, he pretty much handled Dungey. Now we get to number 3. Eli Tomac. 4 titles. Yes, I know there's guys on the list with more titles, but I'm also considering back when RJ Ward and those guys were getting 500 and 250 titles, they were able to get one of those each year because those were split in half. That actually played into my consideration. If you get a 450 title when it was a long season or a 250 title, that actually means more to me than it does if you do the 5-race series or 6-race series that they used to have. So it used to go 125s would do a 12-race series, 250s would do 6, and then 500s would do 6. So you'd have, that's how they did the championships. And I almost want to throw an asterisk by some of those championships because they're so short. But hey, championship's a championship. Eli Tomac has 4 legitimate big bike, or he's got 1 250 title, 3 big bike titles, and I think he's going to get another one this year in 2022, but time will tell. Then we get to our top 2. At number 2, James Bubba Stewart. Okay, now you might ask why a guy with 3 national titles ends up on this list. At number 2, he had a perfect season. A perfect season. That's ridiculous. The fact that it's been done 3 times, one of them by him, 2 of them by Carmichael, the fact that it's even been done, period, is ridiculous with so much chance. You got a bike that can fail. You got a weird crash that can happen. A flat tire. Like, there's so many things out of a rider's control to get those and overcome that. I mean, a bad start, food poisoning. And the outdoor nationals is brutal, gnarly, rough. I don't think we'll ever see a perfect season again, at least not in my lifetime. I just don't see it. It's just that it's too hard to do. So for that reason alone, James Stewart is number 2 on the list. Number 1, to nobody's surprise, Ricky Carmichael, the GOAT, greatest of all time. This guy has 10 championships. He was a national champion every single year he was a professional. Every single, just stamp, every year when they got to the summer, he won. That's unheard of. That's ridiculous. His winning percentage in series where he completed the whole series and not bowing out for injury, but bowing out because, well, he wanted to go race NASCAR. And he won those races, and he probably would have had 11 championships on that final season. I believe he won every race and then just walked off into the sunset. So it's not even close between first and second. I mean, the guy had 2 perfect seasons where he didn't lose a moto. And if you count overalls, he had 3 perfect seasons. So anyway, that's my top 10, guys. Let me know what your top 10 is. Let me know what I messed up. Where would you place other guys? It's all subjective to what you watched, who you knew. And yeah, it's fun to talk about. So on the eve of the new 50th anniversary of the Outdoor Nationals, let's rank the top 10. So that's my top 10. What's yours? Oh, and I think I'm going to start adding some sponsors to this show, hopefully outside the industry. If anybody wants to be a part of this show, hit me up, chriscookseymedia@gmail.com, or direct message me on Instagram at chriscooksey6161. So thanks, guys. Subscribe, like, and I'll catch you later.